In this video, I want to talk about how you might want to activate a FileMaker script from within your custom application. Now, normally what I tell people is that as they want to build a script, they know they need some level of automation. They have kind of this idea that they might want to print or send an email or maybe move some data around. I tell them to get out a piece of paper and a pencil and make some notes. What is the script supposed to do? And what users will use that script? And of course, along with the users, you need to know what kind of devices and computers and things like that. So the idea, of course, is that you're mapping out a little bit of a plan before you start writing the code. Now, of course, to help you with your plan, you need to know how you might activate a FileMaker script. Well, the most obvious way to activate a script is to click a button on a layout, and that button is tied to the script and it executes the script. So you would click on it with a mouse or tap on it with a finger, right? So that's pretty straightforward. So buttons are predominantly one of the most common things that people use to activate a script. However, you can also activate a script when you first open the FileMaker file. So upon opening a file, we have what we call open scripts or opener scripts, and it can do some initial maintenance or initial checks and actually navigate you to a specific spot in the system and maybe show you certain records. And that is an auto open script or a script trigger that's activated on first open. And that's been historically a very popular script that almost everyone sets up, because when you first open a file as a designer or developer, you have kind of a thought as to what the person should see, right? They're going to see a menu, or maybe they go back to where they were when they left. It's up to you. But you have the ability to control that because when the file first opens, you can tell it to run that script. Additionally, there is a final closing script that can be activated when the file is being closed down on that user's workstation. So of course they close the last window and then it can run additional script to do some maintenance. That is not quite as popular as the open script. Pretty much everyone uses the open script, and about half the people out there use the close script. So you have the button and then opening and closing. Historically, that's been all that FileMaker could do. But in recent years, FileMaker has added the ability to have event-driven triggers, which means that if the user navigates to a certain layout, it can activate a script just by them going to the layout. Or if they're tabbing through fields and they go into a field, it can trigger. If they exit the field, they can trigger. If they flip a record, it can trigger. So just off the cuff, there are like 15 different types of triggers that you can activate. Some of them are layout based, so as you go onto a layout or you type a key on the keyboard when you're on the layout, you can activate a script. There are object-based triggers, which are mostly targeted towards fields. So as you go into a field, or maybe you type keys on the keyboard, it intercepts those keystrokes and then, makes a decision based upon that. But all these things can activate a script. So as part of your planning, you need to think about what is the business case, what is the job that needs to be done, and who is going to do the job. Then how logically does that user activate the script? So obviously a button is a deliberate process that they're going to press to activate, right? Makes sense. But maybe you don't want to train them on pressing the button. Maybe you just want it to be automatic. So that depends upon the user that's using it, what your expectations are. If you have the script activated automatically by a trigger, then maybe there's less training for that person, but there might be other trade-offs. Sometimes it's beneficial to have a manually activated button, right? As opposed to something that's totally automated that no one even knows has gone on. Of course, you want an application that is beautiful and wonderful and makes perfect sense, but there are times where you actually want a button to be specifically activated manually, right? Makes sense? So that covers the methods that you should think about when you do your planning on how you want to activate your script.